Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing this video, and this is kind of a more serious video today because my friend is in the hospital, and he's one of my better friends in my life because I've been hanging out with him for about 13 years, and he is a gamer, not a console gamer, but not a, like a computer gamer, but actual console RPGs, not console or tabletop RPGs, tabletop gamer, that's the word. And recently he had a mishap with a burr from some plant that went into his belly button, and then he did not treat the injury, and then he had a flesh-eating bacteria eat much of his stomach and lining of his skin, and he also had many strokes as a result of this because of blood clots, and he's in the hospital right now because of this whole thing. And it's really devastating because when someone doesn't take care of themselves and does not go to the doctor, refuses to get help for a lot of the stuff that happens with them, it's almost like a drug addict or an alcoholic. It's like, and he is not, but apparently he has diabetes, and he's had it for years and didn't know. And this is part of the reason why this flesh-eating bacteria got to him. And it's really terrible that he's going to have, we don't know what's going to happen with him because he was running our group, and we were going to his house, and his wife supported him. Okay, I'm just going to say it flat out. It was a weird situation to begin with, and it was rife for something tragic happening because of the way that he took care of himself or did not. And it's really hard to fathom that this can happen to a close friend like this. Like, I've had people die, I've had like relatives die, and I haven't had a lot of friends. Well, I have had some friends die too, but that was kind of after we weren't really hanging out anymore. Like, I did go to my friend's funeral, like back in the early 2000s, and it was devastating. But like, it wasn't like someone I hung out with once or twice a week. And my friend right now isn't gonna die, but he may be in a debilitating condition for the rest of his life, where he may need to have nursing or something of that matter for years to come. And it's just like, it changes everything overnight. And basically what happened is that he wanted to go to his grandfather's funeral. Actually, I think it was this Friday that this was going to happen. So he delayed going to the doctor for this skin infection that he had. And it's just like, it just makes you think about your life, and what, just that you can't really skimp out on those details, as far as if you have some kind of pain in your chest, or if you have some type of thing that's happening to you, you can't let that go. And I know people hate hearing the word toxic masculinity, and I hate that fucking term too. But like, men traditionally do not go to the doctor as much. Whether or not you want to say it's toxic masculinity or just like a weird thing that is associated with men, then that's fine, But he didn't go to the doctor. He didn't take care of himself. He has diabetes, and he didn't even know it. And it's just going to be, and the fact of the matter is, what frustrates me is that he is so stubborn that he's going to have to be on this diet, at least. I mean, if he has if he goes to a nursing home it's probably going to be months or a year, because he had such a big injury with his lining of his stomach or something. I don't know all the details, but like, he had blood clots that caused strokes, mini strokes. And this is all from a little burr that got in his belly button and started bleeding. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, but it caused an infection, and he didn't do anything about it, hardly. And the cavalier attitude that he had towards his own health was very troubling from the beginning of me knowing him. I just always knew there was a ticking time bomb in the situation, unfortunately. And like, as I get older, as I try to get healthier and stuff, I just know that I have to be on top of things, especially as you get older. I mean, and he was not, obviously not, because that the diabetes basically caused the infection because his immune system was low. So it caused this, bacterial infection, or, flesh rotting, or whatever, or flesh, not rotting, but flesh eating disease to happen. So it's just a devastating moment, and nothing's going to be the same again. Now we're still gaming, some of us, we're probably going to game at their house, they're a couple. Now I don't know when he's going to be back. I don't know if he's going to be back. And I don't know what his condition is with his cognition or his speech. And it just shows you, like, you have to take things seriously. And you have to take things seriously when people are slurring their words, a lot. And it's like, okay, something's up here. If you feel like, and one of my friends probably saved his life, because this guy, the other, the friend that's in the hospital, refused to go. And his wife was saying he probably should go, but his friend pushed him over the edge to get an ambulance. So he probably saved his life. And my friend is kind of a hypochondriac, ironically enough, but it kind of served in this situation that, wow, there's something not quite right here. He's slurring his words and, like, very slow and stuff, and, like, not the usual person that he is. So it's really devastating. It's really depressing. Unfortunately, I like I said, I mean, it was, you could just kind of expect, you kind of expect these things to happen sometimes. Like, if you feel like something's on course towards something bad or good, you sort of, you have that kind of precognitive sense, not precognitive in like a psychic sense, but like, something bad is going to happen. And I knew it would happen. Now, I did not think that anything like this would happen for maybe 5-10 more years with these people, but it just, you felt like it was going to happen eventually, and it's unfortunate, but you have to, oh shit. You have to follow through on listening to other people when they tell you about yourself. I listen to everything people say about me. I mean, people criticize my vocals. I started hiring a vocalist. People criticize this, I'll do this. Because I take an objective look at myself or something that's not quite right, and I'll do something about it. Not always, but a lot of the time. And it's like, when a person is that stubborn, like my friend, he's so, like, mixed up in his, not mixed up, but like disturbed by his life and in his brain. Like, he can't grasp changing. And you have to change. You have to change in life. You have to grow as a person. And this person I'm speaking of is, I'm not going to go into all the details, but he's extremely stagnant in life. Like, he's married, but like, he's just, he's had so many, he's in a bubble where, we'll play, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have health insurance, refuses to get any help, he just has his wife support him. In a way, it's very, like, aggravating and, kind of disgusting in a way, but that said, on the other side, you can think, well, he's so disturbed that he cannot live a normal life. But now he's going to have to face up to this. If he comes through this, which I think he will, he's going to have to face up to a lot of this stuff, because you have to. You have to face up to the idea that you have to change in order to progress in life. If you can't progress in life, you're if you are this stagnant as he has been, just not wanting to do anything to help himself, just becoming this guy in a bubble that's living like he's a kid, like, you know, a 10-year-old, and like, even though you're married and stuff, living like, you know, I'm obviously into a lot of cool stuff, you know, role playing and, you know, cool music and movies and stuff, and, you know, obviously obtained not through his own work, but that said, I mean, he was doing surveys for a while or whatever, but he called that a job. But anyways, that was a whole debate that I had with him, because I was very judgmental of him too. So, but like, eating endless amounts of sugar, which I have to cut down myself, of course, too. Not eating vegetables, not eating fruit, you know, not taking a lot of vitamins, just like, and letting things become unsanitary. And I know people criticize my video, my Kamala Harris video or whatever. It was I was actually in the process of cleaning for my apartment inspection at that time, and things were kind of strewn all over the place. So whatever, I don't know. It was kind of funny. I don't really care. But anyways, you know, I just thought I'd mention that. So I don't want to seem like a hypocrite. But yeah, not taking care of yourself, and just like, there's this like, you're stuck in time. Like, I talk about being, you know, I talk about like not feeling my age and not being who I, you know, not being blank years old, which is 2 digits that are the same now, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And you probably can guess those 2 digits. You know, I'll just give you a clue. There's an Aleister Crowley book that has the digit in it. Those 2 digits together. Anyways, it's kind of depressing. But anyways, I don't feel my age. I don't feel like who I am. But I have a job. I have a car. You know, I have health insurance. I have an apartment. But thankfully, I passed the inspection, the second inspection. But that's my problem, of course, with my bathtub. You know, because there was some things I had to fix, you know, which I'm gonna be fixing in my life too. So, but like, the whole idea that there's one thing that I try to be a responsible adult, but at the same time, it's like, I can never commit to being the, you know, your average adult, because I'm pretty behind in life. So that's part of it too. But when you're that behind in life, like he is, like, other than having a wife and stuff, like, I can't even imagine. It's like when I talk about my friend that's a virgin. I can't even imagine like how hard it's going to be for him to adjust to a new lifestyle so he doesn't fucking die. I mean, I'm rooting for him, but it's pretty devastating, you know, overall, to think about this whole idea that he's going to have to be very vigilant towards himself, that he's never been. He's going to have to be the person he's never been, because you're on this crash course towards this tragedy, you know. And I think he was on this course. I think this timeline happened in a way for a reason, because if he would have kept going, let's say he didn't have the infection from the burr or whatever, from the dog that had a burr on it and went in his belly button or whatever, you know, it's a weird story, I know, but like, it's kind of like from Requiem for a Dream, where the Jared Leto's character is shooting up in the same hole, and then it gets his arm cut off and stuff. It's kind of like the same kind of like, it's not gangrene, but, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're unsanitary, you're not, you know, taking care of yourself. Obviously, it's going to cause more of an infection. Whereas, you know, just shooting up a little bit, you know, it's not going to get your arm cut off, you know. I have some like sunburn that I have to take care of myself, just still coming. It's still, maybe I'll go to the doctor for it. No, I'm doing all right. But anyways, so, you know, it's like, it's one of these things that you think about, you know, as you get older. It's like, I've never had a friend that had such a debilitating condition, like, that I was not like already not friends with anymore. I had a friend that kind of went down this rabbit hole, but I was already not friends with him as much. But I've never had a friend this close that has gone through this kind of thing. Like, I guess he had like several mini strokes because of blood clots in his brain from this infection. And I don't know what he's going to be like afterward. I don't know if he's going to be able to talk normal. It's just, The guy is very intelligent, very articulate, and a stand-up dude, you know. And I mean, other than what I've described, and it's just it's a tragedy, you know. And it just means people have to take care of people. People give me shit for being judgmental about not taking care of themselves, and probably, you know, I would feel better about saying that stuff if I take better care of myself, which I am. I don't take. I was gonna say it's not that bad, especially lately. Like, it's been going a lot better with that realm, within that realm. It's never gotten that bad, other than like, look, watching my videos from early 2021, my face is fucking huge. I mean, I was definitely getting up there, you know, with the weight. So I could just tell from the videos, even on this phone. Like, there's a few videos on the phone, like there was a video on like BitChute that I put, and some guy mentioned some like face flattening thing, like he thought my face was fat and stuff. It was just weird. But I know my face was getting pretty huge. I was getting kind of bloated or something. It was weird. But like, I was getting up there. Let's just say that, because being at home all the time. So, but you know, it's taking care of yourself. You know, getting sleep. Having some amount of nutrition. You know, I'm gonna probably eat this salad tonight that I have. I have a salad several times a week. There's this like Greek salad that I buy from Trader Joe's, and I try to take all these vitamins and supplements. Originally for the coof, because I thought, you know, I watched Dr. Seahalt and what's his name, you know, the older dude, you know, he's on Jimmy Dore sometimes. What the hell, that guy? That I've watched some of those guys. Dr. God, what the fuck is he's a nurse? John. God, I can't remember his name right now. But you know, I've watched all these doctors, and they say take this vitamin, take this. And so I take a bunch of stuff. So I'm probably not the most unhealthy at this point in my life. But there are obstacles and things that I need to get past. Like, I shouldn't be drinking coffee at 5 at night, you know, which I was, but whatever, you know. And you know, there's certain things I shouldn't be doing, you know, obviously at this age or whatever. But I don't think that I think it pales in comparison to what my friend was going through, or what he was doing or not doing, because all I saw every time I went over there, they were eating fast food, you know. Every time I went over there, it was, oh, we're eating dinner now. It's like fast food, all these burgers and all this crap, you know, and chips and candy. They had like huge jars of candy when we're role playing, soda and all this shit. It's like, I mean, you could do that in moderation, but like, if that's your life, if that's all you're doing, and you're already super obese and like sheltered from the sun, vitamin D, and like you're not exercising at all. Like, I don't only exercise at work putting files away. I am going to the gym twice a week. You know, I'm probably about to restart martial arts, because I had a little thing with martial arts, because I went to this place and they are still doing something that I do not want to do while I work out, if you know what I mean. So, but you know, there's other place I found that doesn't require that, so I'm probably going to go there. And I know people are mixed on that. And, oh, why don't you want to go to the? Because it's torture. Have you ever tried working out with a mask on? It's fucking torture. Anyways, it's horrible. It's like you feel kind of sick actually from doing it. Especially if you're out of shape and you're trying for the first time, like, oh man, you know, it's like, oh, you don't try to be like a bodybuilder with a mask on. It's awful. So, but anyways, that's just off topic. But yeah, I don't think that this whole thing is a very positive development. But hopefully he learns his lesson, and hopefully he's gonna be taking better care of himself and not just living this excess. You know, there's a person that is in our group. She always talks about people with drugs, because I play a lot of drug addicts in the games. Like, not necessarily addicts, but like people that do a lot of drugs and drink and bang a lot of women and stuff in the game. Maybe I'm living vicariously in my role playing games, but you know, because I don't do drugs in real life. So, and she's really judgmental. But what about her own husband, you know, who's just didn't take care of himself, lived in excess, but it was no drugs. There was sugar, there was wasting your life in a way, So it's really sad, and it reminds me of a drug addict, like overdosing or something like that. It feels like that to me because it's that same amount of hubris that comes from the defensiveness of drug addicts or alcoholics when you're trying to confront them about things. It's like, fucking stop this lifestyle. This is not helping you. This is hurting you. You're gonna crash and burn. There's gonna be something that happens. And I knew something would happen. I knew it would. I fucking knew it. I even said something a couple weeks ago to my other friend at the games, and I was telling him like, oh, this is not a very healthy lifestyle. This is not right. Like, I felt something was gonna happen weeks ago. I knew something was gonna happen. So take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. I'm probably gonna go see a doctor. I haven't seen a doctor since maybe 2020, I think, but as far as I remember, maybe 2021. I think it was 2020, unless it was early 2021. Yeah, it was it was February 2021. I did see a doctor for various reasons that sometimes, anyways. But so it's just it's a tragedy, and I think if anybody has any kind of will to do this, pray or do rituals or whatever, and I hope he makes it with this, because he is making it, but it's just gonna be hell for him for months, because a lot of his body is probably gonna be scarred from the tissue they had to remove, and all this recovery from the strokes and recovery from this whole thing that happened, this diabetes that was undiagnosed for 10 years, allegedly, according to someone that told me that I know, that knows him really well. And just all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're going to have to face these things. I mean, I think we're all self-destructive in a certain way, and we all like to live in excess, but sometimes you just got to draw the line. When I criticize like girlfriends and stuff, like, oh, you're doing this and doing this, it doesn't come from a place of like, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's like, well, they're getting a little, it's like, obviously there's partly like a component that's shallow and an asshole, superficial thing, but also if you're with someone that's super indulgent, like I was previously, it doesn't come from necessarily like, oh yeah, I'm trying to control her life or something. It comes from a place of caring. It's like, you want to see them succeed. And same with my friend. It's like, I don't want to judge him and say, oh my God, you're such a loser for blah blah blah. But it's like, you got to come from a place where it's impossible, because it's impossible to try to even attempt to tell someone that they're doing something that's that self-destructive in their life, because they're going to be defensive. And this guy is really defensive, like, he just, because of his upbringing and stuff like that, and his parents or whatever, really defensive, really does not will lash out at you and say, not like what you're saying, and sort of blames other people sometimes too if they decide not to talk to him and stuff like that, and doesn't want to look in the mirror, in a lot of ways, and I think he does somewhat. I saw him grow in the last couple of years. I thought he was changing, but recently, I don't know. It just seems like he was getting more messy, and was more of a mess and stuff in some ways. But I thought that this was definitely inevitable, unfortunately, that this was going to happen. So it's just, people take care of themselves. They need to take care of themselves, especially men. So that's about all.